Hello, my name is Michael Chandler. I'm an Extension Communities Planning Specialist at Virginia Tech, and it is my pleasure to host and moderate APA's inaugural Planning Commissioner Services video production. Meeting Management, a mock commission hearing, was filmed in San Francisco during the 1994 APA National Conference. I am grateful to APA and in particular to Carolyn Torma, Education Director for the APA, for having confidence in the efficacy of my suggestion, as well as the courage to film the mock hearing sight unseen. That's correct. What you're about to see was filmed without benefit of rehearsal. In fact, about half of the 14 persons who role play during the videotape were selected only hours before the filming. They are not professional actors and actresses. Like you, they are members of planning commissions and they are professional planners at the local level. Like most things in life, this video was not developed in isolation. Angela Harper, a former board member of the APA, and Milton Hurd, a planning consultant in the state of Virginia, helped me design the mock commission hearing. They also, as you will see, play key roles in the hearing itself. The fundamental premise underscoring the video involves the reality that planning commission meetings succeed as well as fail for a variety of reasons. What we hope to provide through the videotape are practical techniques and tips you can use back home with your planning commissions. We are confident that you will see and recognize several real-world realities as you watch the video. Accompanying the video is a workbook. Please reference the workbook, for it contains the agenda that we utilized during the mock hearing, as well as the process observation sheet that those in the audience in San Francisco used to critique and make notes and record impressions as the mock hearing unfolded. I hope you will do the same. In particular, observe the behaviors and actions of the various actors. For example, what did they, in your opinion, do right? Did they do anything wrong? What should they have done? And what would you do if you found yourself in a similar position at a future commission meeting? Also, keep your eye and ear on the chairperson. Keep your eye and ear on the applicant. Again, think about how the meeting progresses and how it is managed. Following the vote, I'll be back and we'll talk about what you observed. Now, as they say in Hollywood, it is time to sit back, relax, get your popcorn, get your workbook, and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the City of Exaction Planning Commission.
We'll call the meeting of the City of Exaction Planning Commission to order. So nice to see so many of the public here. Ms. Servant is serving as our acting secretary. I'll ask her please to call roll. Ms. Servant?
Ms. Susie Polster.
Here.
Mr. Bulldozer.
Here.
Mr. I Am Fast. All right. Mr. Chairman.
Here.
And I'm present as well.
Thank you very much. We each have an agenda. The commissioners received it in the packet a week ago. Welcome, Mr. Fast. Would you let the record show, please, that Mr. Fast has arrived?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can we get started, please?
Yes, we
Where's my
certainly
staff
will.
report? Okay, all right.
You've each received an agenda. As you know, on the agenda, we have 3 consent items. On the consent agenda, we will have 1 public hearing this evening, and we have a great deal of unfinished business and new business to cover. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
So move.
I would like to note before we have a second on that, that we do need to note that the date needs to be corrected on the agenda. It is April 19th and not the 17th.
Thank you, Ms. Servant. It was published correctly, but we must change our agenda to April 19th. I do have a motion and a second to accept the
Who's the
agenda.
second?
I second it.
Sir.
Mr. Dozer, second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is accepted. Now, do I have a motion regarding the consent agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Dozer?
Second.
Mr. Fast?
Thank you.
May I have a vote on all those in favor of the consent agenda? Please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. I would entertain a motion, please, to accept into the record all of the handouts, staff reports, letters, memos regarding each of the applications that we have before us this evening.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Mr. Fast, do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Dozer? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I will announce to the audience that you will have two occasions to speak during this session. We will have, of course, in our public hearing on Ordinance 1044, you will have an opportunity to address the commission. And then following the public hearing, under public address, if you have anything that you wish to address to the commission, you'll be entertained at that time. So there will be two opportunities to speak. First of all, I would like to just briefly give you information on our hearing guidelines, which are published in the back of the room, but just so that you know. First, we will hear from staff, and then staff will be free to have the commission ask questions of staff. Then the applicant will speak. I will call for information from proponents and then opponents. At that time, I'll close the public hearing, and then I will turn to the commission for questions or comments from staff or any of those of you who have testified. We ask that you keep your comments brief, that you keep them relevant to the actual action we're dealing with. We ask that you not be repetitious. We do want to hear all of your concerns, but we don't want to hear them 3 or 4 times. There is a sign-up sheet at the podium. When you come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and sign on the sheet, please, for our record for the file. And now to our first public hearing. We have ordinance number 1044, which is a request to rezone the 9.7-acre tract at the southwest corner of New Market and Strath Roads from A1 Agriculture to B1 Business District for the purpose of a bank, offices, grocery, restaurant, and other retail. The applicant is Everybody's Bank and Trust Company. The request and notice of this hearing was published in the Exaction Gazette on April 7th. The property was posted on April 7th, and property owners within 300 feet of the site were notified by mail, and that certification of those publications and mailing is in the record. And now I'll turn to the Planning Director, Shades O'Gray, will now present the staff report on this case. Mr. O'Gray.
Madam Chairman, members of the Commission, the application before you, as you said, Madam Chairman, is from Everybody's Bank. They are the applicant. It is a requested zoning change on this 9.7-acre tract from A1 agriculture to B1 business. And as you said, it's located at the southwest corner of New Market and Strath Roads. And that is in the southwest That's in the southeast section of the city. You can see from the vicinity map that we show you here. As you said, the applicant is proposing within this new zoning district bank, offices, grocery, restaurant, and other retail uses that are as yet unspecified. The surrounding zoning right now is mostly B1 business on the north side, but predominantly A1 agriculture around the site on the other sides. And the surrounding land uses right now are on the west, we have the Varina Middle School. On the east, we have a nursery business as well as some low-density residential 1-acre lots. On the south, we have low-density residential uses as well, and also the City Fire Station number 4. And on the north, we have an existing convenience retail store within that B1 district that exists now. In terms of the future land use plan, the conference plan right now designates this area as an urban expansion area, but specifically in terms of future land use recommends low-density residential. The staff has identified several major issues really in 4 groups. The first one being the question of the conformance with the comprehensive plan. And as I said, although the plan identifies this area for future urban expansion, it specifically suggests or recommends that this area be zoned for low-density residential uses. So we see a direct conflict between this application and the comprehensive plan. Second group of issues deals with the vehicular access question and pedestrian access as well. The traffic levels on Newmarket and Strath roads, if this application were approved and developed, would more than double, adding another 6,900 trips per day to the existing traffic levels. The applicant has proposed some resolutions to this issue, including limiting access points on Newmarket and Strath and providing a 50-foot right-of-way for a future road that would tie into properties to the south. And you can see that road here running along the west side of the property. It would not be a road, though. The applicant only proposes to reserve the right-of-way, not actually construct the road. We also see some potential circulation conflicts between the proposed use and the adjacent middle school next door. Another group of questions we have is the land use conflicts. Fundamentally, the scale and intensity of this proposal would be very, very large in relation to all the surrounding existing development, and we see some potential land use conflicts there in terms of traffic, noise, lighting, odors, all those sorts of things. Also, the concern about buffering this use from neighboring land uses. That might be one way to modify these conflicts or ameliorate them, but the applicant proposes merely 20 to 40-foot buffers in that range along the southeast boundary of the site. And finally, visual impacts. There's an architectural compatibility issue with the middle school next door because the Verina Middle School is eligible to be listed on the National Register. It is an historic building, and there is concern about the visual impact and compatibility with that building. The applicant has said that they were going to adhere to a colonial style of architecture, and that may have some mitigating effect there. Also concerned about a scenic byway. As you know, Newmarket Road is designated as a scenic road, which is an important resource to the city, the county, and the region. And although we have no design guidelines specifically for construction along this road, it's a very important resource that needs to be protected. The applicant has offered to ensure that buildings are set back 100 feet and that there's a 50-foot landscape buffer along Newmarket Road. That's still a question as to whether that's adequate. So in summary, the staff recommendation to you is to deny or recommend denial of this rezoning application for 4 main reasons. One, the scale and intensity of the proposed uses we think are, based upon our analysis, are incompatible with the existing adjacent uses. 2, the proposed land uses are clearly inconsistent with the guidelines contained in the comprehensive plan. The proposed road improvements from the applicant are not sufficient to mitigate the doubling of traffic volumes on the site, and the proposed buffering and architectural design are not sufficient to mitigate those visual impacts that we see that would be likely with the development. I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that the Commission may have.
Thank you, Mr. O'Gray. Are there questions of the Commission?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Dozier.
Let me see if I understand your report, Shady. I mean, Mr. O'Gray. You're against this good project because of a few cars, right? Well, it seems to me that we should be more worried about jobs for our citizens and the cars second. Aren't jobs really more important to our community? Isn't that the primary concern here?
Madam Chairman, I don't know if it's appropriate for the staff to address that at this point. I think we'd like to, rather than making statements, ask questions of the staff, and I do have one as well.
Excuse me, Ms. Servant. I do accept the fact that you should not address that. Do you have any other comments?
No.
Now, Ms. Servant.
Yes, just for my purposes, since I'm a new commission member, and as I understand it, we have some citizen members here tonight, didn't we just go through a comprehensive plan amendment in this area, update of the entire plan?
Well, what I'm reporting to you, Ms. Servant, is the current adopted plan and its recommendations. Yes,
Right.
most
And as I recall, the community just went through the comp plan update, and didn't we have some discussion about using the Market Street as the divider between the commercial and the residential areas?
I believe there was some of that discussion. In fact, that is one of the sources of the recommendation that's in the plan now.
Can I ask you about the difference between the commercial traffic count and the residential traffic count? What is the difference between what it would be recommended for in the comp plan and what the applicant is proposing?
We don't have that in the staff report. I'm sorry, we don't have that number, but I could certainly get that for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the staff?
Madam Chair, we all
Mr.
know the
Bass.
developer. We're wasting time. This is an important project. This area needs to be rezoned. I move for approval.
Mr. Fast, we'll entertain a motion at a later time. This is a public hearing. It has been advertised. We have not had an
I understand,
opportunity.
Madam Chair, I understand, but this is a good project, and I have a lot of trust and confidence in this developer. And I know that,
Mr.
that this
Fast,
developer is
Mr.
going to take
Fast.
care of all the staff concerns. that we see.
Mr. Fast, please remember the decorum set aside by this commission. Let us go on with the public hearing. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. O'Gray. We will now hear from the applicant, and then the proponents and the opponents, and then we will turn to the commission for questions of all of those. To begin this public comment, we'll call on Dolores Dollars. She's the applicant for the representative of the applicant. Ms. Dollars.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Dolores.
I am Dolores Dollars, representing Everybody's Bank and Trust. In the rezoning request for the 9.67-acre site located in the southwest corner of New Market Road and Strath Road, we really request a favorable recommendation by this commission to the board in order to support this rezoning. Everybody's Bank and Trust is an established corporate member of the Somewhere District in the Exaction City. We currently serve many of the residents of this area from our branches, which unfortunately are 20 to 30 minutes away from these residents in this particular area. First, the bank plans to build a 3,000 square foot bank office to better serve our customers and expand our customer service to this growing area. Besides the bank's need for an office, the community needs, and I want to be sure you know where the site is because I know sometimes the commissioners don't have time to get by the sites. And it is a little dark. It was sort of a cloudy day, but hopefully you can see that site. This is, as you can see, fronting on New Market Road. Besides the bank's need for an office, the community needs a shopping center. A center to provide the neighborhood commercial services that are so badly needed by the residents of this neighborhood. Grocery store, small office spaces, restaurant, daycare facilities, and some small retail tenant space. Why does the community need this space? Well, there's a population of 4,000 people within this 3 miles of this site. In this same distance, there's a total of only 179,000 square feet of all commercial space, which includes the office and the retail. There are no child care centers or any sit-down restaurants. When the site is fully developed, we anticipate that there will be 50 jobs, permanent full-time jobs created, and that the tax revenue will be a minimum of $350,000 annually. Why this location? This site was placed on the market because the lady who lives in this home, which is a 70-year-old Sears and Roebuck home, catalog house, has had to been placed in a nursing home, and their family needs these funds to pay for the nursing home bill. The family really needs the funds to sell this property. This site is centrally located on New Market Road, generally halfway between the downtown area and the Charles City County line. New Market Road was one of the first scenic roads selected by the great state. This route connects the colonial capital with the modern-day capital of the great state. New Market Road is classified as a major collector roadway. And Strath Road is classified as a major collector. Both roadways are planned to be widened in the master planning process of your city. These will accommodate the traffic and the growth of the Somewhere District. We will provide the widening along the frontage of our site that is needed at the intersections of Strath and Newmarket Roads, and we will be glad to help pay for the traffic signal that will be needed at this intersection. Developing a site on a scenic roadway definitely carries additional design considerations, and we at Everybody's Bank and Trust realize that, and we're committed to developing the site generally in conformance with a master plan shown on the screen. You will note that the building setback, the building setback from Newmarket Road is 100 feet. There will only be 2 access points on Strath Road to reduce the turning movements and only 1 on Newmarket Road. In addition to the site layout considerations, my client plans to build a colonial-style office building. This particular type of design would mean that it was made of brick foundation with a beaded base siding similar to the award-winning Vitality Village shopping center that has a village layout and is designed to strengthen the neighborhood in historic and small-town character, similar to what has happened in the western portion of the city in Vitality Village. This slide shows the office building we propose to use for our bank office, and the rest of the shopping center would be eventually built with the same similar architecture so that it would be compatible. This particular colonial style, we feel, would positively influence the other architectural style that would be, and construction quality that would be developed on the rest of your community. To address the staff's major concern of the scale of the development, we have to think about the fact that this acreage would create 380,000 square feet if it were developed at full potential. The applicant is only proposing to build 62,000 square feet of office space. 1,200 square feet are for actually the relocation at the developer's cost of the Sears and Roebuck house on the site to location G on the site plan. This would be, as I said, at the developer's cost. We are proud to say that the Somewhere District Historical Society is very excited about having this house as a museum and headquarters. The city zoning ordinance would allow 380,000 square feet. We propose square footage 83% less than the maximum allowed. In surveying other centers in the Somewhere District, all the centers are developed almost to their maximum. For this reason, the community has grown to expect little open space and fights with developers over historic resources. My client has acknowledged his commitment to observe the setback from the roadway that has been proposed in your draft guidelines for the development of Newmarket Road by setting the building back 100 feet. The 2000 land use plan adopted for the Somewhere District recommends that this area is an expansion area. This means that this area is where the city would like for development to occur. Both public water and sewer are available to this site. I previously mentioned that the site has ample roadway frontage on both a major arterial and a major collector. Both of these roadway classifications include proposed cross-sections that would add lanes to accommodate increased traffic, and we will be widening the road in front of our sites. On behalf of the applicant, I have met with numerous neighbors and groups to share with them our proposal. They have shared with me their concerns. We have tried to address many of their concerns by changes to the master plan, and I am still willing to meet with anyone. The location of significant community facilities adjoining the site adds to the fact that this location is in many ways a focal point for the educational and social activities of this community. The addition of a shopping center will provide convenient access to parents going to and from the historic Verona Middle School and the recreation center. We plan to fence and buffer with landscaping our property adjoining the school to discourage patrons of the center from wandering on to the school property. The wetland area on the southern portion of the site will buffer the recreation center from the shopping center. And as the Director of Planning stated, we do provide the right-of-way to eventually extend a road to help relieve the traffic problems from this recreation center once the games let out and when, baseball season is in effect. In conclusion, Everybody's Bank and Trust is a strong corporate citizen who wants to be the owners and developers of a quality commercial center in the beautiful historic area that we are proposing it. I will be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Dollars. We'll have questions later. We'll turn to the proponents for this issue. We have two that have registered wishing to speak. I'll call on them first, and then I'll call to see if there's anyone else from the audience. First, we have Mr. Ken Dewitt. Mr. Dewitt.
Great presentation, Dee Dee. Mr. Madam Chairman, woman, person, hey, Bull, how you doing?
All right. Good.
I'm Ken Dewitt. I live at 1313 Money Market Lane, and I'm the president of the Greater Exaction Business Merchants Association. I support this commercial development. We need banking facilities. We need the retailing. We need the sit-down restaurant. I mean, aren't we all just tired of all that paper flying at the carryouts? We need a restaurant with some class in town. And this kind of development is going to be a shot in the arm for this area. Everyone's talking about a Sears Roebuck catalog home. Get real. It looks like Dogpatch. We need the revenue from this development. Now, you're going to hear people, I'm sure, today. I've been to plenty of these meetings, and they're going to be saying they're against this development. And they all live in single-family homes that we all know don't pay their way. They don't pay their way. We're going to get more real estate taxes from this development. We're going to get more sales taxes from this development. Now, you're also heard about the middle school historic district. Big deal. I mean, it looks like Dogpatch, too. But that's okay. Our kids are still in there. Who do you suppose is going to pay for the books and the library and the sporting facilities and the teachers' salaries? Not these single-family homeowners that are coming griping tonight, but rather this kind of developer.
Please just keep your comments relative to the issues and don't name call or degrade what we've heard before.
Oh, does that mean I can't say that you're going to listen to tree huggers later?
Correct. I'll ask the commission to ignore that comment.
I mean, I love trees as long as it's lumber.
Do you wish to address any of the specific issues?
Yes, I do have one more, just one more, and that is they're talking about agricultural land, okay, saving it and so on. I'll tell you, agricultural land is dead in this county. It's just dead. And also, have you ever smelled the farm?
Again,
Now, I'll tell you.
Those are inappropriate remarks.
All right. In conclusion, I just want to say I'm a business and a city person. I don't feel comfortable with grass under my feet. I like to feel concrete and smell asphalt. It smells like prosperity to me.
Madam
Thank
Chair.
you, Mr. Dewitt.
Madam Chair, I'd simply like
Yes,
to
Mr.
add
Dozer.
that in the meeting that Ken and I had with the applicant, they did agree to add some additional landscaping.
Mr. Dozer,
Yes.
you are not to have an ex parte content. Are you now making note for the record that
Yes,
you had a
I'm-
content?
Yes, that was the reason why I said that was to make everyone aware of that. Yes.
Madam Chairman, I would then like to note that I believe that Mr. Dozer should excuse himself from the room and not ask any questions or vote on this issue if he has a conflict of interest.
Is she kidding?
I don't talk to me. It's a good project.
You talked about an ex parte content, but do you feel that you have a conflict of interest in this?
No, ma'am. In fact, I've just disclosed the nature of that contact for this meeting.
Thank you. I will rule that he may remain.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And now we have Mr. Have it both ways?
Yes, I am.
Please remember to keep your comments brief, to the point, and with good decorum for this meeting.
Very brief, very to the point. I am president of the Upscale Recreation Association. We serve 2,600 wonderful children in this community. That's 2,600 kids. You have a tremendous opportunity here to send out a positive message to our children. Now, y'all remember that first slide, the little yellow line that went down through the middle of the project? We need that access road. This project will save minutes every time the parents take their children to this facility. Minutes. Now, you must understand that this proposal will allow our kids to spend more wholesome time rather than becoming street thugs. The choice is yours. We need this road. And I have to remind you now, 2,600 children, that's 5,000 voting parents that put you people where you're at.
I would remind you, Mr. Boways, that we are appointed, we are not elected.
I understand that, and I
that does
understand
not-
we elect the people that appoint you, so you understand that. As I was saying before I was interrupted, I'm sure this commission...
I am the chair.
I'm sorry, I
Thank you.
apologize. I'll stay right to my notes here
Thank
before I
you.
was interrupted. I am sure this commission is smart enough to realize what it means. You don't want to anger these parents. No, you don't. The public health and welfare is at stake. 1 second, I'll be done. I know we can count on your support. Our children can count on you. That's what a yes vote will do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Boways. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this application? Let the record show that there's no one else. And now we'll turn to the opponents. 3 individuals have registered asking.
Wait a minute. We don't need to hear from any opponents.
Please be seated.
Just a minute. Now,
Wait, sir. Either take the podium and announce your name and address for the record, or I will have you removed from this hearing.
Sir, this is a public hearing. I have a right to be heard because business is good for this.
I will hear you if you go to the podium, state your name and address for the record, then this body will hear you. Sir, Deputy, would you come in and remove this individual from the hearing room? We'll have you removed from this hearing room.
Use that gavel to a good degree and gavel this
Then-
public hearing to a close. Let's get on with the vote.
Amen, brother.
Be seated.
Madam
And-
Chair, are we going to
Yes,
enforce...
Mr. Dozier.
Are we going to enforce time limits on speakers?
No, I'm
It
not
is
going to
getting late.
enforce time limit as long as they keep it brief. I will be watching, and I have the secretary watching the time.
Thank you.
We have 3 opponents registered to speak. We'll call on them first. Mr. John Nimby.
I'm John Nimby, number 7 Whipper Illwell Lane.
Hi, John.
We,
Ms. Servant.
we are coming before the commission, Madam Chairman, members of the commission, opposed to this rezoning.
Excuse me, Mr. Nimby. Mr. Dozier, Mr. Fast, could we please have your attention? Would you please put the paper down? This is a public hearing. Thank you. We need to hear this testimony.
Please proceed.
Mr. Nimby.
Timely fashion, please.
This proposal is bad planning. I've been coming to these meetings for a number of years, and I know what bad planning is all about.
Would you please keep your comments relative to this application and this application only?
This application is bad planning.
That's a personal opinion.
It's completely out of character with our neighborhood, and it does not fit our residential area. It's not as supported at all by the comprehensive plan. I've read the comprehensive plan from cover to cover. It is not supported by the plan. You saw from the slide, the low-density residential area, that this is sitting right in the middle of it. It actually violates the comprehensive plan and its intent. As the president of the Varina Homeowners Association, we polled the residents of this area, and on a ratio of 80-1, the folks who live in this area are opposed, and we have a petition that we would like to present to you for the record this evening.
Mr. Nimby, you may give that petition to our secretary, but if you recall, petitions have no weight with the Planning Commission vote. It will be forwarded in the record to the City Council, though, because it does affect their vote.
From past meetings, we certainly understand that.
Thank you.
Another area of deep concern is the traffic that this commercial development would generate. It'll bring our neighborhood, bring the city into our neighborhood. We have a school in the area. That school will, with school children, their safety and security will be absolutely at risk. And it's right next door to this proposal, which just doesn't make sense if you think in terms of good planning. We also feel this development will destroy the historical character, regardless of what has been said about the nature of the architecture that's being proposed. It'll destroy the character of our community. Finally, we feel that this proposed rezoning is really self-serving to the special interests such as the bank and other outsiders who do not reflect the true needs of the neighborhood. In summary, we realize it's difficult to vote against powerful special interests. Good planning requires courage, and we hope that you members of the commission will have the courage to vote against this proposal for rezoning.
Thank you, Mr. Nimby. And now, Miss Ivy Hurt.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Commission. My name is Ivy Hurt, and I live at 750 Miller Drive. I'm here this morning, on behalf of the Varina Middle School Parent Teachers Association. As chairwoman of the PTA, I represent over 1,000 parents who are adamantly opposed to approval of this application. We have a number of concerns that we feel simply cannot be ignored. Our chief concern is traffic. The report from your own staff states that the traffic on the roads near the school would double. This represents an additional 7,000 opportunities for our children to be maimed, hurt, or even worse, God forbid, killed. Could you all bear to have that on your conscience? We object to the retail, office, and restaurant uses proposed by the applicant. The applicant has shown some nice pictures. We have no idea what would go in those buildings. Will this restaurant be a family restaurant, or will it be a Hooters? Do you know? We have no way of knowing. There is absolutely no guarantee. Will these businesses or offices be uses that require frequent delivery trucks? My God, 18-wheelers near a middle school? Can you imagine? And just what kinds of stores are you talking about? Excuse me.
Sir, please be seated. Do I need to call the
I would like
deputy?
my opportunity to continue, sir.
Thank you.
We have enough trouble already with our children wandering across the street to the Quick Mart convenience store. We do not want our children to have additional opportunities to purchase pornographic magazines and cigarettes. We urge you not to approve this application. It is not supported by your own plans, by the plans developed by this community, as Ms. Servant pointed out just last year through numerous citizen meetings that the PTA, our children, and our parents participated in. It is not appropriate near a school, and it is not what we want for our community. I thank you for your time, and I would like to leave you with a final thought. Our children are our future, and the votes of their parents are your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hurt.
Ms. Hurt and Madam Chair, I was wondering, have y'all reached 100% membership yet on your PTA drive?
Mr. Fast, we still have people
I was
registered.
curious, Madam Chair. That membership means a lot to that PTA.
Ms. Patrick Henry.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson and Commissioners. My name is Mrs. Patrick Henry VIII, and I reside at 123 Revolutionary War Road. I am the chair of the Historical Society, and I speak on behalf of the entire membership of the society. We are opposed to this zoning change because we feel the historical significance of the area will be destroyed. We feel relics of the past that predate the Revolutionary War, in which my dear husband's great-great-great-grandfather so gallantly fought and died, will be destroyed. We feel that this beautiful historic area, a monument and an encyclopedia of our past history, will be destroyed. And if you destroy the tangible evidence of our past, you will also destroy the future knowledge of our children. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you must understand the society is committed to preserving the area as it now is. We can see this thing turning into one of those strip malls that all these developers are so fond of putting up with, all those phony colonial cluster buildings. But you cannot copy or you cannot duplicate history. Now, Mr. Nimby and Mrs. Ivy Hurt, they have already voiced their concerns to you. The members of the Historical Society concur 100%. And we ask that you seriously consider our positions. And my husband's great-great-great-grandfather, Patrick Henry I, said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Well, they gave him death. You know, sometimes you get what you ask for. But I would say to you, preserve our history or destroy our future. I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mrs. Henry. We don't need that. Excuse me. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition to this request? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and sign in on the sheet, please.
My name is I.B. Righteous. I live at 1776 Independence Way. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I'm damn proud of it.
Please keep your comments to this issue. We're very short on time.
The issue is you, Madam Chairman. I'm here to protest your participation and presence at this hearing.
Whoa.
Your husband is a lawyer.
Correct.
And he works for Ms. Dollars. And you should not be here today. I think you cannot sit there in good conscience and participate in this hearing, and you should remove yourself immediately.
Mr. Righteous, I understand your concern. My husband is an attorney. He has many clients.
I'm
in this
saying that one of
community.
his clients is Ms. Dollars, and you have a
On
conflict of interest.
occasion, he has represented Ms. Dollars. He does not have anything to do with this
How can you sit there
particular...
and vote on this matter
Excuse
when he
me.
brings money into your
Will you
house
let me
from her?
finish? Will you let me finish?
Will you let me finish?
He has nothing to do with this particular application or this purchase of land. I have cleared it with the city attorney. He is in full knowledge. He has assured me that I have no conflict of interest in this particular issue, and there is a letter in the record that so states. But I thank you for your concern.
Well, I think you
Please
have a
be
definite
seated.
conflict of interest, and you should remove yourself as chairperson and also from this meeting.
I am very comfortable that I can deal with this issue on a fair basis, as my husband has nothing to do with this, and the city attorney is in accord. But thank you for your comments. Mr. Fast.
I think we still have, you haven't closed the public hearing. You haven't closed the public hearing.
I will now close this public hearing for public comment, and I will turn to the commissioners. They will ask questions of the staff, of the applicant, or of any of those of you who have testified.
Madam Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Servant.
For Mr. Shades of Gray. Could you explain to me the effect of these road improvements in the capital improvements program? My understanding is that we really haven't, we do talk about widening Market Street, but it is not in the 6-year plan. So I'd like to know what the timing on that would be.
That's correct, Ms. Servant. It's not in the current road plan. It's not in the 5-year or 6-year plans. There is no time frame for it.
And as a follow-up to that, then in this case, we're talking about increasing traffic on a road that really isn't slated to be improved anytime in the future. That's what I should draw from your comment?
I believe that's correct. Without a commitment for time frame, we would consider it very uncertain.
And also, as I understand with rezoning, it is not necessarily proffered. They've given us a plan that says generally what the building locations will be and that it would be for bank, grocery, and other retail. I've heard the applicant mention things like restaurants and childcare. Is that guaranteed as part of this rezoning, or is it simply just part of the window dressing by the applicant?
Well, those are uses that the applicant could do, but there's no certainty that those, in fact, would be the ones.
Okay. There's no
that they would,
guarantee.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Could we move on,
you.
please?
Excuse me. Ms. Polster?
I also have some questions for Mr. O'Gray. Please, I apologize for my lack of voice today. Could you please refresh my memory regarding the recent comprehensive plan and whether we did show a road connection coming down from Market Street to the middle school, whether that was included or not in the master plan?
The road on the west side of the property.
That's correct.
There was a tentative proposal. It wasn't, as Ms. Servant said, it wasn't defined in terms of timing, but there was an option for potential future access way there, yes.
So to serve the recreation needs of the community, we don't need this business venture to develop that road ultimately then?
Not necessarily, other than if right-of-way is donated, that would reduce the net cost or ultimate cost to the city.
And one other question, please. Ms. Dollars spoke to the wetlands on the site. Can you tell me what the staff believes the impact of the development will be on the wetlands?
We don't have really in our file a detailed assessment of those conditions, so it's difficult for us to say for sure on that. That's something we still need to do some work on.
So is that something we should consider before taking a vote on this application?
Come on, Madam Chairman.
Mr. Fast.
Well,
Let us hear this response, please.
the problem, I think, is that we don't know when that information would be available. We have a general study from the applicant, and our analysis is based upon that general study. Whether or not you need more detailed information would be up to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Polster. Thank you, Mr. O'Gray. Any other questions for any of those who have testified today?
Could I ask a question, Mr. Ken Dewitt?
Mr. Dewitt?
Yes, I'm still awake.
Would you please come?
Did your organization do any analysis of the impact of this commercial development on our existing historic downtown commercial area?
Could you repeat the question?
No.
Would you like the question repeated, sir?
I didn't quite.
Yes, I'm interested, since we've made such a commitment to our downtown historic area, what the impact of this sort of satellite commercial area would have on our existing downtown. I think it's very important for us to consider that in light of the Chamber of Commerce.
I was just wondering
Thank you,
what the
Mr.
question was.
Madam Chair, I believe...
Yes, Mr. Dozer.
I believe it's beyond the scope of the zoning powers authorized by the city to consider regulating competition. This is a free market society. If this project goes in, the people downtown are just going to have to keep up.
Well, that's true, but it's certainly within our area to talk about where land uses are located.
That is true. And we do need to keep into mind the goals that have been set in our comp plan as regarding the preservation of our historic district. So that is a fair question. Any other questions of any of those who've testified?
Yes, Madam Chairman, may I
Yes.
ask Ms. Ivy Hurd one question, please?
Madam Chair, could we move on?
Mr. Fast. Ms. Ivy Hurd, please.
Could you tell me how many parents there are that are attached, or how many children are in the school, and how many parents you all have
We have
polled on this?
approximately 550 students in the school and well over 1,000 parents.
And how many parents have you polled on this particular issue?
I speak for the entire Parent-Teacher Association. We are adamantly opposed to this application, and in my role as chairwoman of the PTA, they have asked me to come and speak to you all this evening. That is, Mr. Fast, those parents who do participate.
Thank you very much. I think that says it all for this
And
application.
who do you think is going to use this shopping center when it goes in? Those same
That's probably a fair question, Mr. Dozer. Any other questions or comments?
If there are none, Madam Chair, I would like to get around to making a motion.
I would entertain a motion.
Then I move for approval.
Is there a second?
I will second that. I think Brother Fast is right, regardless of what the birds and bunny people say, and regardless of what the historical
Mr. Dozer,
society says, I
Mr.
think it's a
Dozer,
good
I'll
project.
take your second. I need no further comment.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yes, I'd like to note that the applicant has raised the point that this is an expansion area, and I believe that's true, but it is an expansion area for very much needed residential in the community, and I do not want to bust our comprehensive plan, and I'm very concerned about the impact of commercial development on the historic downtown, so I feel that I'm not able to support this motion.
Thank you, Mr. Any other discussion on the motion?
Madam, I make this
Mr.
motion.
Fast.
I would like to continue some discussion, if you don't mind. I had some points to make.
I'll take your points, please.
I made this motion. I approve this because of four good reasons. Number one, it will not hurt the area. It will create needed jobs. It's not going to add to traffic problems. And I tell you, this area needs to be rezoned.
Thank you, Mr. Fast.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Polster.
I cannot support this application. I believe there are a number of concerns that are still unaddressed, and also having talked to the community, talked to the members of the PTA, various members of the Homeowners Association.
Ms. Polster, have you discussed this application with those people?
I've been contacted by a number of people that have interest in this application.
And they,
And also the fact that this particular road that the recreation folks need so badly to access their site will ultimately be developed per the master plan.